but for the first attempt I'm really pleased with that, and I'm quite impressed by this Datacolor SpyderX. So the guys from Datacolor were kind enough to contact me recently and asked me if I'd do a review on the Datacolor SpyderX Pro display calibrator. So I've never used one of these things before. It was something I've thought about, but I've never actually used one. So full disclosure, the guys have sent me this, they haven't charged me for this, they've asked me to do the review, but it will be an honest review, and not so much a review really. I mean, there are loads of reviews on this on the internet if you look on YouTube. I'm going to just give you this as a perspective from somebody who's never used one before, never used a screen calibrator before, and see if I can get it to work basically. So you guys can follow me along. I'm not going to give you any technical stuff, let's just see how it works. So opening the box, and the first thing we find as we go inside, we've got a little bit of information here that says we need to download the software. So we're going to go into the computer, it gives you the address to go to. We're going to go in, put in that address and initially download the software. So that's the first stage. So let me go away and do that, and then we'll come back and carry on. So the first thing it's telling me when I've got to the actual website is to make sure the monitor is warmed up. It took me so long to set up to do this this shoot. Basically the monitor is warm, trust me. So it's been up for, it says at least half an hour, and it's definitely been up for more than half an hour. So yeah, so the next stage we've got, it just says download, install and activate software. So let's go and do that. Right. So that's the software installed. We're good to go with that. I guess the next thing is to get this little beauty out of the box. So in the box we've got the SpyderX itself, and then it looks like we've got a USB lead just to plug it into the computer. So all looks fairly straightforward. So let's get it out of the box. Okay, so I'm just going to read the instructions. So the next stage it tells me is plug in the SpyderX and remove the lens cap. Ensure the SpyderX is plugged into the powered USB port on the computer before you launch the application, and follow the step-by-step on-screen instructions. Remove the lens cap from the SpyderX calorimeter. So okay, so let's get it plugged in and have a look what it looks like. So this is what they mean when they say remove the lens cover. So inside there we can see the lens cover for the SpyderX. So this is actually what's going to record the screen to set our calibration to give us the correct brightnesses and the correct color modes. So the whole idea of this really is that when we edit our photos, what we don't know is, I mean, we can look at it on our own screen, but our own screen could be totally out color wise, brightness wise and everything else. So by the time we either post this on the internet or send it to somebody or print it or whatever, it could come out completely different. Somebody else could see it on their screen totally different to what I'm seeing on my screen. But at least if I know the screen is calibrated using this, then at least I'm confident that I've got the right settings for what I'm editing. And then what I can also do is I can also record and calibrate different screens. So with the different screens I can actually make sure that they all match. So at the moment I'm actually going to calibrate this screen in front of me. The Apple Macs, I mean, they're supposed to be pretty good. So at some stage I might calibrate that, but they are normally pretty good. This is just a big TV, so I'm not going to worry about that one too much. But I'm just going to get the monitor and maybe the Apple Mac done. But for now, we're just going to worry about this monitor. So it's telling us now to plug this into the USB port on the computer, which we're going to do. And then to follow the on-screen instructions. So here's my first problem. I don't see any on-screen instructions. Okay, so what are we doing wrong here? Okay, so we now got it up and running. I realised what I'd done. I closed down the software on the computer when I plugged it in, so just didn't get any response. So I've opened up the software. I realised also I hadn't put in the license key, so the license key is actually found in the bottom of the box. So the software is all up and running. As you can see now, it's on the screen. So yeah, I think we're good to go. So it's given us a bit of a wizard on the screen here. So it's telling us, you know, have you allowed the screen to warm up for half an hour? So I guess we check the little box to say yes, we've done that. Lighting conditions, have you checked there's no intense lighting falling directly onto your screen display? So I think I'm okay. I'm not sure about the light here from the video camera, so we'll just have to see how that goes. But at the moment, yeah, we'll say we're good on that. Display controls, have you reset your monitor settings? So reset the contrast to default, set the temperature controls to 6500K or equivalent, and adjust the brightness levels to which it's comfortable. So yeah, I think we're good. I think we can say we've done that. And plug the Spyder into the computer USB port and not into a hub or keyboard. So it's saying that it's, you know, you really need to be directly into the computer, because it may not work if it's going through a hub. Although I have seen on the internet where people have connected to a hub and it seemed to work okay. So I'm just going to tick that to say we've done that, and then hit the next button. So it's asking us what type of screen we're calibrating. So as I say, we're not going to do the laptop this time, so we're going to tick the desktop icon for that one and hit the next button again. So it's actually found the display. It's an LG display, full HD. So I think we're comfortable with that. I don't think there's anything else on there we can really pick. So we'll give a next on that. So it's asking us which controls this display offers, brightness and Kelvin presets. Now, I don't think this has got any Kelvin presets on it, so I'm just going to do a quick check and see. No, from what I can find on this display, it's a pretty basic display, so I can't see anything where we can set the Kelvin on it. It's not really a proper, what I call a photography monitor, this one. It's more just a general computer monitor. But we're just going to see how it goes anyway. So let's go next now. Okay, so it's now asking us to identify the technology used in the display. It's come up by default with wide LED. I think I'm just going to select the general option because I don't think this has got anything specific in it, so it's very difficult for me to. I don't really know much about this monitor, to be honest. So the next screen is asking me to choose the calibration settings. I mean, you know, as I say, I'm a complete novice at this. I haven't got a clue. I've never used a calibrator before. So far, so good. You know, I'm going through the menu setups, and I seem to be okay. What the result's going to be like, I don't know, but we'll see how we get on. So it's asking us if we want to recalibrate, check the calibration accuracy, or do a full calibration. Obviously, we've never calibrated this screen before, so we're just going to do a full calibration. And it's putting some target settings in there. Gamma 2.2, white point 6500, brightness 120. At the moment, I'm just going to accept those as general because, again, I don't really know. I'm not going to change any settings at this stage. I'm just going to see how it works out to start off with. So I'm just going to hit the next button again. So it's asking me to place the spider on the desk as shown. So, and it's saying make sure you have no intense light falling directly on your display screen. So again, so I'm not sure about this light that's here for the video camera. So we'll see what happens. So this is going to actually check the measure the room light just to see what the target brightness is and what best fits for the room light. So the conditions, I normally keep the curtains shut when I'm doing these sort of videos and when I'm doing editing, because it keeps the glare off the screen. So you know, these are the normal conditions I would be editing in. I'm just going to hit the next button from there. So it's telling me the room light is high, which is not surprising, I think, because of this light we've got for the video. It's asking me to lower the room light if possible, or use a monitor hood to calibrate the display for maximum brightness. So what I might have to do at this stage is just turn off the video light and just see if we can just do this section again. So with the video light off, it's now telling me that the room light is medium and the level is appropriate for typical photo editing. So I think we're good to continue at that. And I'm just going to accept the recommended settings, because again, I've never used this thing, so I haven't got a clue if there's any specialist settings I need. But at the moment it's telling me the recommended target settings are a brightness of 180 and a white point of 6500. So we're just going to go with that. So it's asking me now to stay at the computer after I click the next button on this screen and not move away. And the application would take some measurements and then wait for me to adjust the brightness. After the brightness is dialed in, the application will continue with the calibration. So I think if I OK this, yeah, what it's asking me now to place the SpyderX on the screen. So it's giving me a little marker here where I need to place it. So we're just going to adjust the cable, hang it over. This is basically a counterbalance that sits on the back. So we're going to put the counterbalance over. We're just going to adjust that cable so that we can get the SpyderX within that marked portion on the screen. So this now seems to be clicking through various colour settings. So I've got a little message here which says click the update button to measure the screen brightness. Look at the target and current values, adjust the brightness control on your monitor either up or down to make the current value match the target. Okay, so we've now we've adjusted the brightness on the telly, so we've got this slider bar that's actually sitting in the green line. I think that's what I'm supposed to be doing. It's telling me to adjust the brightness controller until the indicator is in the middle. So it's come up with that. It's giving my target 180, current now is 181, and it suggested, I think in the message previously, that we needed to be within 4%, so I think we're good there. When you adjust it, you then have to click the update button for this to actually change. So you adjust the brightness, click the update, and then this changes in here. So that sets the brightness. So I think when we've done that, we can hit the continue, and away we go again. So that appears to have gone through the calibration cycle. It's telling me to remove the spider from the screen, which I'll do now. and then hit the finish button. So it's asking me if I want to save that now as a new profile, which I'm going to do because it's the first time we've done this. So it's given me LG Full HD1. I'm just going to tag on the back of there a date so we know what the date is. And it's also saying, do I want a calibration reminder in a month's time? I'm just going to change that to 6 months at the moment. I can always calibrate it if I need to in the meantime. I'm just going to hit the save. Congratulations, profile has been created. And your system will automatically use this profile for this screen basically. And then we can just hit the next button. So I've just put the video on, so at least I can talk to you guys again for a little while. It's now come back to a basically a preview screen, and we're looking at, it says we're looking at a calibrated view, and we can switch, use a switch button that's on there to click between calibrated and uncalibrated. So that would give us, I assume, a difference in view. So let's just try that. So there's definitely a difference. You know, I can see if I switch between it, my uncalibrated state and my calibrated state are very different. What I'm actually finding at the moment is that I think the calibrated state is actually, it's given a little bit of a greener tinge, I think, whereas the uncalibrated is actually more a reddy colour to it. So, you know, it looks, it looks pretty good. I think the colours are probably realistic. It's difficult to tell. I think we can open up some of these pictures and preview them. So let's open this up a bit more, and they again switch between the two. Yeah, it's probably, it's very difficult because your own eyes, you know, you think you know what you want to see. There's definitely much more vibrance in the colours when I'm uncalibrated than when I'm calibrated, but that's not to say it's right. And when I click the calibrated screen, I actually think it's probably more like it should be, to be honest. So it's quite interesting. You know, I'm going to sort of compare it to my Mac screen. I mean, if I click uncalibrated versus calibrated on my Mac screen, I think the calibrated is actually, it does sort of match my Mac screen a bit more. Yeah, definitely. As I'm looking at that, and this is the screen that's calibrated, this Mac screen obviously isn't. So when I'm looking at the two as a comparison, I certainly think that looks more like my Mac screen now in the calibrated view than when I click to the uncalibrated view. And the uncalibrated view definitely looks a bit, I don't know, a bit too red probably. So yeah, I quite like that. I think that has worked quite well. So now I've done that, I'm just going to hit the next button again, see where that takes us at the moment. I mean, it looks like all sorts of other things we can do here, but we're just going to go on to the next, and I'm thinking that's probably the end of the calibration. Yeah, so this is giving me some, it looks like some results. Again, you know, I'm not techie, so I find it very difficult to understand what this is. It's telling me my current display is displaying 94% of sRGB. So I don't know whether that's good or not. There are other options here. I can actually roll my mouse over by the looks of it to see NTSC, Adobe RGB, and P3 again. I don't know what that is, but sRGB, it's showing me 94%. Again, I'm going to have to look at what that means because I don't really know. But all I can say is that me looking at this screen, I actually, the big check for me, I guess, at the moment is being a very naive person to this, is that my display now looks very similar to my Mac screen. And on the basis that Mac screens have a good reputation for this sort of thing, I'm guessing that's a good sign. So, what's my conclusion to this? Well, I have to say, considering I've never done this before, it was pretty easy and it was pretty quick. So I think from that point of view, the Datacolor SpyderX works really well. I'm happy the two screens look pretty good, particularly considering this is the first time I've ever tried to do this. I may go back and play with the settings a little bit and do it again, just to see if I can get anything slightly better. There's a little bit of a green tinge on that one towards this one is, but for the first attempt I'm really pleased with that, and I'm quite impressed by this Datacolor SpyderX. So I thought it was only fair that, as that was my first run through, I thought it was only fair to run the program again. Now I know what I'm doing with it. And I did find there was a couple of settings that I needed to change, in particular when I was choosing the type of monitor at the beginning of the process. But I have to say, now I've run it again, I am really pleased. I've even calibrated the TV screen to see what happens to that. And the colours on the Mac laptop, the LG display screen, and even the Samsung telly, they all look pretty good now, pretty even. Obviously the TV is not a great screen because it's not good quality for doing this type of work, but the colours that have come out on them all, they really do look, to me, identical. So it's calibrated all three screens and they've come out, I think, pretty well the same. So that is, for me, that is really a good advert for the Datacolor SpyderX. It really is good. I'm over the moon. So yeah, so once again, really got to say thanks to the guys at Datacolor for sending me this to try. And as I say, I haven't paid for this, so full declaration. The guys have sent me this to try out, and I've reviewed it. I'm really happy with it. I'm going to play with it a bit more. I'm not going to bore you guys while I do that, but really like it and I'm really happy with it. So thanks again, and hopefully it's been interesting for you guys as well, and maybe you'll even see some difference on some of the images I post. You might say, oh, that looks better than it used to, so let's hope it does. But yeah, thanks for watching. Whatever you're doing, have a great day, and I'll catch up with you again soon, hopefully back outside again. Bye for now.